It pleased God to save the believers.
The true Christ, who today, together with God the Father, has fulfilled the promise to be present again in the midst of people, is trying to help man to stop believing so much nonsense regarding the coming of Christ to earth. Men think that the coming of Christ to earth refers to an arrival to the planet, since they have the concept that Christ does not live here, but that Christ will come from a place beyond the clouds. The truth is that before her manifestation as Christ, she has always been here on this planet because she is a human being, except that there is a period of time, a dispensation prior to her second coming, in which God the Father concealed within her his true identity from the sight of men. That is why men cannot even imagine that the personification of Christ is God's true promised land, and not in a geographical location, that it is only through her, through that person, that man is able to at least approach God the Father. Even though her light shines to the ends of the earth, which means that her wisdom of heaven that no man has ever heard has been spreading for years to the minds of men, they are not capable of seeing her. God has been speaking to us through the mouth of Christ Lisbet, and her voice resounds to the ends of the earth so that everyone can hear God's voice in her multiform wisdom, which is expressed in many different ways, because when God speaks, there are no barriers limiting the outreach of his word, Christ Lisbet. However, foolish men voluntarily choose to deny the truth that she speaks. That is why God has fulfilled what he says in 1 Corinthians 1:21. God is so wise that he did not allow the people of this world to know him through human knowledge, and with his wife, his Christ, he established to save those who believe in her message, which is new to everyone, even if it seems foolish. To the people who are stubborn and reluctant to hear something new that will change their way of believing, this seems foolish. Nothing can make them stop believing what they learned as children, and is engraved in their heads that God the Father and Christ are Father and Son. They find it crazy to hear a woman say that this is a lie, and that God the Father and Christ are truly husband and wife because Christ is a woman. That is why Christ did not return in the way that the so-called Christians expected, as a man coming in the clouds of heaven mystically, wearing a robe stained with blood, and his eyes like burning fire, and that before his physical return, an event called the rapture would occur. Christ has neither come as the Jews think, as a man from the Middle East with supernatural powers who would take them back to their native land to rebuild a physical temple, nor has Christ come as Muslims expect, which is similar to Christian theology, a man who would descend to earth mystically to fight in a physical combat against the Antichrist. No matter how much men try to understand how or what the coming of the Messiah would be like, they will never be able to do so with their own intelligence, and that is why God the Father and Christ, God the Mother, the heavenly couple, have to be present. Because only by having the mind of Christ is that one can get to know what God the Father and Christ are like, and understand why they both do things the way they do. Amen.